Welcome to June 21st. Gosh, is it Wednesday? Of World Unity Week of 2023. I'm here to welcome Eva Millauer of the Embodiment of the One Heart course. And Eva, I'm going to ask you, what does that name mean? How did you come up with such an idea?
Okay, so at the beginning, I can't actually remember the whole evolution or the various titles. This work had, but at some point it was called The Indivisible Beauty of the One Heart. And that was so complicated, like no one can remember it, no one can Google it. It was like it was just one of these things, that just goes in and goes out, and what did she say, and then because my name is also something people can't remember, because Eva Millauer is not something you can spell in your head instantly, so people just had problems finding me after they met me, right? Because it was like this indivisible what again, and her name was like what, so it was like I was just this mystery, that wasn't findable. and then gradually I became just more aware how important it is that the body is named as part of the process of what embodiment as one heart began to become. And funnily enough, it was just a little while later that suddenly it was embodiment everywhere. I started to call them embodiment as the conscious heart first, the workshop type, retreat type, I didn't even know what to call it, because it was like so the sessions were not quite fitting into any particular category. It wasn't like a meditation retreat, it wasn't like an ecstatic dance thing. It was something in between all of those explorations. So I always was practicing how to verbalize what it is, but the word embodiment came in, and it was first embodiment as the conscious heart. And then someone in one of my groups said, at some point, shouldn't it be embodiment as the one heart? And I was feeling into it, and I felt like, yes, because the conscious heart still feels like it could be still seen as your own heart, but somehow it's conscious, right? It could still be like an entity's. It's funny, I mean, words are always so limited, aren't they? And you can give so many different associations to any word. And I try to avoid as much spiritual language as I possibly can, right? I don't normally, like in the course, I don't think I use the word consciousness, because I find like what is it? It's so that it could be so many different things, and people could have so many different ideas about what it is. So then it became embodiment as the one heart, and that ended up just sticking and feeling like the most real in terms of what it is. And it's also when I just say it, I could literally dance this just like the poetry I dance. It would feel totally right? Embodiment as the one heart. Embodiment as the one heart. Embodiment as the one heart. Yeah. So it had to feel right to the energy of what it is, in all its mysteriousness and indescribability, and how it impacts with human beingness.
It is very much a human need to embody the words that we speak, to say I love you without a forward movement. It seems so wrong. And saying I love you on the telephone is cold, or it can feel cold. And the way to combat that is to lean in anyway. Even if you can't see the person, to embody the feelings. And when you're angry, it really helps to stamp your feet. To have a physical expression of your feelings. We see it in the autistic people that are so many of us these days. The physical expression of their inner feelings. And they're demanding expression. And we need to learn to control them. But we also need to have expression of them.
Yeah. I was working at some point through some really ancient ancestral rage that came up. It was so strong. I was literally just like walking on the fields, right? I was walking on the fields like this, like all like moving, because it was just like this incredibly huge force that was somehow buried very deep down. And once it came out, it was like, wow. It was like this
of force.
Yes. So yeah, the physical expression of it is also so powerful, because it is a way we can learn to own them, right? So I can express that rage through my physicality without having to throw it at someone else, right?
I really like what I saw just there. I saw the energy go up your body and out.
Yeah.
It didn't go this way. It came up your body and out. So the movements that you allow your body to go in, allowing them to take you through the emotions that are there for you. It's so interesting. I applaud you for putting this together as a dancer. When did this start to gel in you?
Well, the understanding of the body more, or it was a progressive thing over years. I can't really exactly pin it down, but I was like many people from my generation, somehow tending towards dissociation when I felt emotionally overwhelmed, right? And not really always in touch with what I was feeling, or feeling what I was feeling a long time afterwards, when I was already feeling it, or I was already reacting before I even realized that I was feeling something, all these type of things, right? Because we've never learned, right? We've never learned anything else. And so over time, the inquiry became just more and more specific about the body. I also had some really intense, which I will call sort of ancestral patterns, where I go into like an extreme fear state that for reasons that look like there's nothing, right? And for me, it's always been a process to go into past life memories that have helped me connect the dots to what was actually going on in my body. And some of these sensations were so strong. They would be feeling like someone stabbed me with a knife in the stomach, or someone was burning me alive. They were so intense, right? They were so intense. And it was very hard to learn not to, in the moment, react to that instantly and try to chuck it away at someone in some way, because it was such a force. It was just like, but what? I need to get rid of this. This is too much, So I had to really learn how to be with these energies, because I didn't want to keep reacting. I didn't want to keep making things worse. I wanted to just find something better. And now I've come to a place where I realize that any of those type of sensations, when they come up, they aren't, because we tend to have the feeling that they happen to us, right? We tend to have the feeling that they happen to us, and suddenly we are kind of the victim of these intense things, right? But I realized it's not what's happening. What's actually happening is that I have a certain message in my system that a certain situation is dangerous, right? From ancient times often. So my body interprets something someone says as really as dangerous to my life or dangerous to whatever, you know, serious danger. And then the body creates that sensation to warn me so I can keep myself safe. Okay. But it is no one doing this to me. It's me doing this to me. I am this sensation. I am doing this, right? And once I realized that it is me doing these sensations, I started to be able to go, when something like this comes up and it's literally like, you feel like you're gonna like fall over and faint or whatever, you know, it's a really strong stuff. Now I can go, hi, body. You don't need to do this right now. My life is not actually in danger. There was just a farmer on the field who told me to put a dog on a lead. And then I can walk up to that farmer and be really frightened and say, you know what? My dog is only off the lead because of la la la. And then this guy is really freaked out that I'm having the courage, you know. So that's kind of how detailed this practice has become over time, and it's really fascinating. It's like I'm doing research with my own with my own body, basically,
and with your life, doing the consciousness, becoming conscious of what your power is within your body, within your life, and to gain that kind of third person, perhaps, perspective in order to allow your body to not react to these inner waves, and to just deal with life as it's presenting itself to you rather than to the waves that are running through you, I think is really valuable.
yeah.
And I can imagine that this course is very effective.
Yeah. So we could actually go into the chapter of separation right now, if you like, because the self-inquiry has literally, it's begun with me, like it's begun with observing what type of things I'm thinking, right? Because at some point, I don't know when it happened, but at some point I stopped thinking. So I don't think a lot. I can literally walk through the day and just go, what's next? And I don't have to do it with thought. But when something happens, when I'm reacting to something, I get angry. Then I suddenly have a lot of very angry thoughts. And they stand out because there weren't any thoughts beforehand. You know, suddenly it's like, you bastards are doing this to me. You know, it's like, and it's like, wow, where's this coming from? I missed something here. You know, I missed something. So, but then you can just peel it backwards, right? You can just go, oh, I've got this reaction. What happened? Where did I miss something? And then usually it's a situation where I kind of missed listening to my body. I missed listening to my needs. I didn't say no somewhere where I should have said no. It's often these type of things, or it can be also something deeper, something ancestral that needs unraveling in a more intricate process of inquiry into what type of life situation that could relate to.
Oh, that sounds so interesting and powerful.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Let's have a look. So this is this one. Yeah. So there is one particular element that I'd love to oh, maybe we can start with this, because I feel it's really important to remember that the basis of this work is to bathe everything in love, including yourself, which I found one of the harder things to learn, right? It's so much easier sometimes to give love and to forget yourself. And I just want to remember that, though, it's not a sort of thing where we work on ourselves in a critical way or push negativity away or anything like that. So, and that artwork says that. Would you like to read it, Shannon?
Thank you.
Or
I
should
love reading.
I love how you read. It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. There is no you who chooses your life. It is separative patterns that are attracted into incarnations and particular life circumstances. There is no one in charge, and you are not your patterns. So you are not personally responsible for them. But once you know you have a choice, you can practice to let love take over. Let love take responsibility to transform the patterns of your life. You are love, and love knows how to do a proper job. How beautiful.
Oh, they brought tears to my eyes when I heard you read it. It is, oh, yeah. Because I really want to support people in moving away from these often people have these new agey type of ideas that you choose your life and you have done it like this and it's your, it's all yours, and it puts so much pressure and so much guilt and so much shame into people, and when people have terrible lives, we can't tell them they chose them. This is just so cruel. And I would just not, I do not recommend to see it that way, because as soon as we get into the realm of separation, like we looked at the picture yesterday, we just tend to distort the truth in some way or another, and then it becomes complicated, and we need to work on ourselves really, really hard instead of just curious, right?
We did have trouble yesterday with technology. Oh my. But we have the computer figured out today. So I wonder, can we have a closer look at that beautiful picture?
Oh, can I make this bigger? How would I do this?
Shift Command Plus is how I would do it on my computer.
Okay. Can I make it bigger?
Yeah.
Oh. Is that better? Shall I make it a little, try it more?
Even more?
Shift Command Plus. If I,
Ooh, too big. Now it's Shift Command Minus.
I'm learning this is done. I'm learning tech now. Shift Command. So if you keep your finger on, it goes very big. So
okay, that's good.
Okay.
And on the right hand side, you can put X on that panel and it'll go away. Just click the X, not up there, down. Yeah, there's an X above some, up, there's an X.
Oh, I can't, we are in the way. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. We're teaching each other, and all of us need to help each other in this technology stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I feel this way, this type of perspective that I'm bringing here helps us to really be just curious and compassionate about anything we find, because we tend to just have such a hard time to find things that we consider negative, right? or like if we are jealous or if we hate someone or something, we have a hard time admitting that to ourselves often, because then we are not the good person we want to be, right? But it's just what's there, and it's not a problem what's there.
Unless
And
you allow it to be a problem, and if it makes you do things that you don't like yourself doing, we need to look at that and to work with it. They are lessons in our lives to allow us to learn the lessons that we need to learn, the wisdom that comes from those experiences and dealing with those the inputs is valuable stuff. And once you don't have to do it again.
Yeah, I worked once with a woman. She does these amazing full expression workshops, and she just says, just anything that's alive in you, bring it out. Anything that comes up, anything, give it a voice. Anything, what is, no matter what it is, no matter how ugly, nasty, whatever it is, you know, if it's beautiful, if it's crazy, if it's mad, if it's silly, doesn't matter. Bring it out, right? And she said, in the calmest way, she said, I have a voice in me that wants to go out and kill everyone. And she said it, but she said it in a way that you felt totally safe because it was like, I own this. I don't judge myself for it. I don't act on it. I'm not doing this, but this voice is somewhere in me when I'm really upset and really angry. I want to do this, right? And obviously we're in England and we don't have school shootings, right? So it's a little bit easier to not put it in a frame. It really isn't a good thing to say, right? Because it just doesn't happen here in real life. Yeah. But why I'm explaining it, why I'm putting this out, is like that really it is so much better if we can be honest with anything that is there, compassionate with anything that is there, because it is the pattern of humanity's history and it needs to be transmuted, and denying it and ignoring it and trying to put it under cover is just not going to work and help us.
I'm at the point where I really want to have a face-to-face with you. Can you stop share for a sec? Because I want to go into this, because that is that emotion that she was talking about is alive in a lot of people, and this, what we're going through, can make that emotion very strong, and to be able to find a way to honor the that impulse, that to allow it to come out of your mouth, so that it can be shared with other people, so that they can receive the emotion and help you with that emotion, rather than you having to act it out with your body. When we express our words, when we use our words, rather than just following the voice in our brain, that the bad wolf on the shoulder. There's a good wolf and the bad wolf. Which one wins? The one you feed. So when the bad wolf has its voice in your ear, and if you allow it expression through your voice, it will not push you into an action that you will regret later.
Exactly. Have you heard of internal family systems?
No.
It's a new form of therapy someone invented about a decade ago, I think, called Richard Schwartz. And I know some people who are involved with this, working with their own traumas with that. And he always says, embrace everyone who comes up in you, everyone, embrace them, listen to them, ask them what they are, why they are here, ask them what they are protecting, right? Because to them, to him, all of these parts that are aggressively attacking or that want to be destructive or want to do anything, all they're trying to do is protect your survival. Somehow along the lines, they have learned that. And basically, if you embrace them with love, they start to talk to you. They start to talk to you why they are there in the first place and what they are trying to protect. And then suddenly you find parts in yourself that are vulnerable, that are beautiful, that have been covered up. And I've learned a lot from the people I know that are working with this. It's helped me a lot. It's been very complementary to the inquiry that I do with Embodiment as the One Heart.
Excellent. I'm going to encourage you to go on to the Facebook event and add any links that you feel that people would benefit from. That would populate all the different iterations of that throughout Facebook. And so wherever people see the recording of this will be posted with that. So when they see the event, they will be able to see the recording right there and see your links. And that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
A digression from your work and truly, I think, important. You know, families are going through great turmoil right now. And I'm grateful for their work and for you bringing them in.
We have powerful conversations, don't we?
Yes.
We're really tapping on really deep, really intense topics.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that we can be together in this way. It really means a lot. Thank you.
It means a lot to me too. And I hope that people get as much benefit from it as I get enjoyment from it. And so, well, that's what we're here for. And so show us more about your course.
Yeah, so basically with the inquiry, what we end up learning is to just be humorous and compassionate with everything that comes up, right? And to research into it. Like if we, for instance, take this example of where you want to shoot everyone that we just had, yeah, if something like this would come up as a thought or as an idea, it sounds like it's an attempt to have power over a situation, right? That in which oneself feels probably very powerless. Okay, so it's actually an act of despair, quite possibly, right? And so in Embodiment as the One Heart, we begin to learn how we may suddenly flip into certain types of behaviors, like certain particular ways we're suddenly trying to control a situation. So if we flip into a situation where we suddenly want to take control, it's a very good moment to stop and notice, oh, I'm trying to control this. Why? Right? So we become not only sensitive to embodying the reality of no separation, we become sensitive to when we move into separation and when we are trying to do certain things that then have certain impacts that we rather don't want. Okay, so like this is one of the diagrams I also made that I found incredibly useful. Now it's too big. I can't get, what was that again? Shift
Command minus.
Command minus. We need to just see the whole thing. One more. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it big enough still?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So again, I'm looking at this inquiry from the reality of no separation, right? So there is like the life itself, inclusive of all polarities as one in the circle. And I've written that there's also realm that is completely beyond paradox and beyond reference. And I wanted to just include that because that also exists, where it's just literally none of that would just even, you wouldn't even vaguely wonder what that was or comprehend it. So that, I wanted to include that because it seems also significant. But so within that, the core belief of separation suddenly arises. And I've experienced it literally like this. You can literally just be in this core belief of separation without any content. It's a very intense sensation in my experience. And as soon as we drop into that, we tend to split everything into an I and a you, into an I and another. So suddenly we're in the world of I and other, right? And we know when we get really relaxed somewhere and look out on the sunset on the sea, we're not thinking about I and other, right? But suddenly we remember, oh, tomorrow I have this really stressful conversation with so-and-so, and suddenly we are in I and other again, right? So beginning to notice when we go into separation and when we go into I and other is a key stage in the process, because as soon as we do that, we go into, probably sooner or later, into a superior you and an inferior you. And it can either be you feeling inferior or you feeling superior, or the other one, right? We flip it around a lot, these dynamics. So when we are on the inferior side, we are likely to feel unworthy, insignificant, and wrong and bad, right? When we are on the superior side, we are likely to feel entitled, special, right, and good. Yeah. So all of these things are really useful to notice about oneself as we go through during the day. Suddenly I say something, I go, where did that entitled thing come from? That's interesting. Why was that? So, oh wow, I suddenly made myself really wrong. All these things, we do them all the time without noticing, and it's really, they're really beautiful pinpoints to go deeper into what's actually going on, right? So when we have the dynamics between the superior and the inferior, we end up in conversations with ourselves or with others that end up having judgment and self-judgment, projection and internalizing projection, control, powerlessness, and blame and self-blame. So these tend to happen. And as soon as we are in that, it becomes very hard to figure out what's actually going on, what's really going on. And we end up just trying to get our way, or we let someone else have their way. But really, it didn't really shift. The situation didn't really shift. An opportunity was probably missed to create something beautiful out of it, right? So when we can see this, and when we can see the dynamic as energy rather than getting stuck in the content, then we may have a possibility to step back into life itself, into the reality of no separation, and then explore what has arisen from there. Right?
Wow.
How does that resonate?
Absolutely. I remember times when I have felt separate, deeply separate, and luckily that was a while ago, quite a while ago, and all of those, self-recriminations, and I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and not good enough, and I'm so glad that I have managed to rise from that a very uncomfortable place, and I deeply urge people to encourage an allowance of the one to enfold us in the love, and so. How do you do that?
How do I do
help
the,
people move from that separateness into the love that is the one that we are a part of.
yeah, well, basically all the other modules are about that. Yeah. So all the other modules are about the learning to be the expression of the reality of no separation, which is simultaneous to unconditional love, really, and which takes us completely beyond our idea of being a separate entity. So that practice tends to can inform those situations. And I have started to explore this, when I was having a really hard time, then sometimes one of my students would come, Eva, when there's love alone. Nothing you don't have. Oh, thanks for reminding me. I needed to hear that. So we can begin to support each other in that process when we're going through something, to remember. And it's been powerful. This practice is really it's very, very powerful. I've recently felt really overwhelmed, and actually just before World Unity Week, I felt very overwhelmed because I'm having a really heartbreaking situation with my mother being unwell at the moment happening, and I had to travel and support her, and I literally felt like I can't do this. I felt like I don't have the capacity right now with this heartbreak and worry and concern to do World Unity Week. I was literally feeling I can't do this. Now this time it's true, I really can't, right? I always say to people, you can switch like this. But this time I was really wanting to make myself believe I can't do it this time. This time it's too much. No, I can't. But then I actually said, okay, no, practice what you preach, darling. I basically found a way to literally begin to see everything that was happening, the complications around this life situation, the tensions around it, the difficulty, then not seeing how it resolves. I literally began to see how simply when we are in fear, we create separation. That's it. And that's all that I need to see. I needed to just see how this was just what was happening there, and accept that and embrace that. And suddenly I was like, I'm on again. And it was just amazing to really come to this place. I haven't been in this place for a long time, but I felt I can't do it, right? But this time I did. And yeah, I was able to find the reality of separation within that again. And now I'm here.
And I'm so glad you are. I do feel you are walking the divine path in right relationship with all it is. And the challenges of your life just they need to be there, because we don't come here for no reason. We need to be woven into the lives of other people, and the love that we manage to wrap around ourselves and wrap around other people help us to ride the waves in a good way.
Yeah.
My best to your mom.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
She has done good work in creating you.
She's been very supportive. She has supported me with all her heart, and it's meant a lot, especially in times where I felt it would go nowhere. She's like, no, Eva, you're doing this. This is what you're here for. She's been amazing.
Our children, oh my, our children, and the things we do in our past that are shadows, and we have to embrace them, and because that was then and this is now, and I've learned a lot from that, and it was part of the divine path, and there's just so much to the tapestry. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that makes me want to look at another little artwork, actually. Would you like to?
I do. You have beautiful art.
It's, oh, I haven't, oh, sorry. This is wrong. I need to go into this one. Oh, it's, oh no. You see the right screen, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The,
Look at this.
yeah, okay.
There's that beautiful one that you showed us yesterday that we couldn't see. Go back up. That one. That is just so beautiful.
So this is how yeah.
Can you go over to the right and get rid of that panel again, that X? That's the one.
Yeah.
There, it's in the middle of the screen now. Beautiful.
Yeah, so the picture in the back there ended up in the logo, because beforehand the logo was just this kite. It's like this is like a rainbow colored kite. The other bit in the colorful circular thing in there. And then I used them both together in the end for the logo.
Oh, it's absolutely exquisite. I just love that. Thank you so much for stopping in what you were doing. I just had to have that input again of that beautiful piece of art. What else were you going to show us?
I appreciate that you did that, because I find people often have this moment by just seeing my card or something. I give them the card and they look at the picture and it's like as if they just, in that moment, they're touched with what it represents. And I find it just beautiful to see how it seems to transmit what it is about, right?
There is so much in that, and yet it's so simple.
Yeah.
It's glorious.
Thank you for sharing that. Where did I want to go again? Oh yeah. I wanted to go to it is in here, isn't it? Yeah, this is the kite. You see, I used this kite. It was part of a film.
Oh.
And then that was in the logo too. Here's the picture again. But oh yeah, this one I was going to look at. It's just that's about that staying in the not knowing, always, and always investigating into how much do we actually know, right? If I ask myself what I really know, or what I just believe to know, there's not a lot I really know, right? Because so much we just believe because we've read it somewhere, because we heard it somewhere, or this or that, right? And so I feel that is such a fundamental disposition that is so important to keep remembering for any form of self-inquiry, for any practice of embodiment as the one heart. Would you like to read it again?
Oh, I am so honored. I love shall I continue? Yes. As soon as you have an idea of who you are, you will look for evidence of that instead of being who you really are. Not knowing is openness to unexpected revelations.
Yeah.
And the light dawns.
Yeah, because it is, isn't it? It is so, I find it so important, because it's so easy to get stuck somewhere into some new comfort zone, right? And then it's like, oh, this was just another comfort zone. I need to break out of that again. And I need to move into something unknown again. And so, yeah.
The phrase, the statement, that was then, and this is now. comes to mind when we say this, what we're saying. And that came through me in a moment of epiphany, I would have to say, because I had been telling myself for so long that this was true about me, and it came out of my mouth. That was then, this is now. There was a shift.
Yeah.
That's no longer true. I have choice about what is true now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. At the beginning, when I did this whole embodiment as a one heart work, I felt like a fraud for a really long time, because when I did this, the practice and the poetry and the dancing, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, Eva, this is so divine. You're so divine," you know. And I felt, yeah, but I don't feel divine. I feel like a completely crappy, shitty human, you know, with all this rubbish and all this stuff and all this, like, I don't even like myself, right? So I felt like it was really divided, right? There was this practice until I realized that I was still trying to do this thing, that I'm trying to give it and trying to exclude me still, you know, because I was still not worthy of that, what I was transmitting everywhere. Isn't that crazy, you know? And it takes a while to actually even see that you do that. It's not necessarily something that's obvious to you, because we've done that for so long, haven't we, these sort of patterns. And so eventually it just began to more feel like, actually, I'm one person now, because now I'm just me, and I'm just honest, and I'm real, and I just will just be honest about myself. And now I'm so much more happy and so much more peace with myself, because whatever is there, and I can be with that freely, right?
Oh, that's beautiful. What that reminds me of is synchronicities have become an embodied person. Well, maybe not embodied, a disembodied entity I call mom. The magic in ordinary moments. And it's because I felt so ordinary, or I was afraid I was so ordinary, or I had this tussle with ordinary. And so when and I've had such magical things happen in my life, the stories are so vivid. There was definitely magic. So magic in ordinary moments. I mean, everybody's lives are really quite ordinary, and yet divinity comes through us in our ordinary moments. And so we are a part of mom, and mom works through us and guides us, and life is extraordinary because of the synchronicities, because of mom. And that's the fun part, you know, playing with words and acronyms, and playing with beautiful art, and playing with our bodies and what comes through us, and finding ways of dealing with the shit that we are kind of surrounded with, and making it be fertilizer. You know, we need to transform sometimes what we see into a good way of dealing with what we create.
Yeah.
I'm glad mom worked so beautifully through you.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened. It's really funny, because it's sometimes I feel like I haven't got a clue. You know, I haven't got. Sometimes when I read the course, I go like, "Did I write that?" You know, it just You know what I mean? Because it is so, I don't know, I feel like I'm in such a place now where I feel so incomprehensible as who I am. I can't quite relate sometimes to being the person who does these things. Apparently, it's a bit funny.
The paths we are asked to walk by spirit, oh my, and feeling very ordinary, and yet and so we do the best we can, trying to weave all of us into the one you that we walk, our I that we walk in. And I'm so pleased to be able to walk in this unknowing with other eyes like you.
Yeah, and it's the sharing, isn't it, that is so powerful. It's the bouncing it off each other, which makes me so aware of how every time I do this with someone, I walk out a different being after a session like this with you. I'm so grateful for them, because it's just so enriching, and it renews me so much to be able to share in this depth. And I also always love telling people is when they appreciate a lot what I do or what I bring or how I bring it. I love telling them, and I will tell that to you too, is if you see beauty in me, it is your own beauty you see.
What you put out into the world comes back to you as well. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Tenfold, they say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for being the beautiful being that you are.
And thank you too.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Indeed, a pleasure.
I can really feel this happening now. I don't know if you feel that too, but I can feel this happening, that we've been invoking this sense of beauty now, and we've still related it to each other as people, right? But I start to feel that the invocation of that is becoming that sense of it being just one beauty that you cannot really separate anymore. Do you feel that too?
Oh, I do walk in beauty.
Mm.
That is part of a practice, a prayer that I created that might fit well at this point. And so I know I want to talk more with you, and I know I'm going to get to, but I would love to share the Beauty Way prayer with you and our audience. And because you talk about embodiment of the one love, this seems to fit. And so it goes with movement. And so it's a kind of a bit of a dance. So let me do that for you. I will share, I will make my, what can I do? I could spotlight me. I wonder if that will work. And why won't it spotlight? Well, it's just going to have to be small. It's all good. So let me get up. At least I can do that much. Okay. So got to work with your background. Thank you, Great Mother, for the place and the body. Thank you, Great Father, for the time and the energy. Thank you, Great Spirit, for all that is. For I walk in beauty before me. I walk in beauty behind me. I walk in beauty all around me. I walk in beauty above me. I walk in beauty below me. I walk in beauty in the past. I walk in beauty in the future. I walk in beauty within me. All that is beautiful. And all it is within me. Blessed be. Namaste, Great Mother. Namaste, Great Father. Namaste, all it is. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be all my relations. Aho and hey, we are on our way, going forward in the peace that she promised.
Oh, that was so beautiful. You move beautifully. I could so feel how you experience the words you speak so fully.
Thank you so much.
It really
That's the end of a Qigong routine that I developed in order to give voice to my desire for grace and beauty, and to provide myself with a physical routine that would support my body, my breath, and my spiritual practice all in one go, and not have to roll around on the floor to get the exercise that I need, or because I was traveling, I needed to be able to do everything that I needed in one go. And so it's supported me now for 6 or 7 years. And it's Qigong, the beauty way.
wow. Can you repeat those lines again? There was the two last lines that had beauty in it. Could you share these again? It was about, do you know what I mean? The last two lines that have beauty in it. One was with the beauty. It was from the outside and inside. Beauty. No.
I walk in beauty within me. I can't do it. I have to do the whole. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Do it again tomorrow. I'd love, I'd love to work with those.
I also have it written along with the motions that go with it. I'm working on making it a video. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, I can certainly work with you on creating something. This, I think, would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very beautiful how you embody the words. It's right there, this capacity. Yeah, because it's not some people find that very, very hard, to bring the verbal together with the physical in such a way. And it comes very naturally to you. It's really beautiful to watch. I love to see that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I love the work that you're doing. And I believe that the alchemical reaction that is happening between us will help people to find a way of embodying their emotion, that the one that they are, their soul, and allow their soul to come out and be more present in our shared reality. And it's just, it's time we have to go. And
You have
it
to
is,
go. You have to run away. Okay. Thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you for today.
I do so look forward to tomorrow. Thank you so much for being a part of my reality. Bye for now.
Thank you. Take care.